Brisbane have finally nabbed themselves two free agents, Oscar Allen and Sam Draper, across from West Coast and Essendon, respectively, and there is some controversy here, let me tell you. My goodness gracious me, but let's get into it. Let's start with Oscar Allen. One of the two things that both of these players have got in common is they're both kind of trying to recover from horrific pairs of seasons. And we'll start, like I said, with Allen. That in 23, he was number 7 for goals for the season with 53. He was equal ninth, I should say, with average goals per game. Had 5 score involvements at 30% score involvement percentage. And that is the kind of player that, of course, Brisbane are hoping to get here. Allen will want to be that guy as well. The last 2 years, though, has not been great. 20 games, 32 goals, just 4 marks a game with less than 2 of them coming inside 50. And those 2 seasons are why people are up in arms about the pick 2. Now, of course, the trade that involved West Coast Freo, Brisbane, and effectively Melbourne, the Judd McVie trade as well, kind of was why this took so long and why I wanted to talk about it separately, because they came through at different times. I know a couple of people in the comments of the 4-way trade video were like, you got to include Allen in the conversation. He wasn't, because the paperwork didn't go through, and I know that it was going through, but speculation's not really what I wanted to do at that point in time. The reason why I bring this up now, as it's finally gone through, is a lot of people are going to be up in arms about the pick 2. Now, let's just pretend, let's give the AFL the benefit of overwhelming doubt for 30 seconds, and say that Allen's contract, which is reportedly 6 years at $800,000, along with his age, I think they would find a way to somehow tell us that is worth Band 1 compensation. And like I said, the benefit of overwhelming doubt, their formula is not worth. You have to understand that. I did a TikTok on this about the Hawks, the anti-Hawthorn thing. But if the contract is that $800,000, it is 6 years, and it is because he's youngish, young for a free agent, then that is worth Band 1, like it or not. Because the difference between Band 1 and Pick 2 are different things. Allen left the last place side. Now, where the criticism of this comes in is that West Coast are also more likely to let him go because he wouldn't get Pick 2 in an open trade. But you still got to be able to rebuild on the fly, and I think Pick 2 is better than Oscar Allen for where their list is. Like, West Coast are going to look at that 23-32 game and goal split and go, that's not what we need for our team. They drafted Job Shanahan. They've done the right things here, West Coast. Now, by Oscar Allen, I'm not sure, because I don't know how much of his body breaking down was West Coast's strength and conditioning staff. I'm not even going to speculate about that, but they've done the right thing here. Brisbane have done the right thing here with Oscar Allen, because it's come into the conversation of what we think he can produce is back to that 23 form. We think that we are going to have the midfield contingent in order to get him the ball. You're going to be bringing in Allen. You're going to be bringing in effectively Hitwood. You'd think Ty Gallop and would go out of the side. You would think maybe Darcy Fort as well if Sam Draper's going to be your number 1 ruck. So where that leaves, Allen's going to be really interesting, because Eric Hipwood, for a guy who doesn't have a whole lot of meat on him, let's be honest, is actually really good as a down-the-line option. That's actually where he gets outmarked the least, which seems strange. I also think letting him fly as kind of a Jeremy Cameron-esque, close to, not the exact same, but that roaming kind of player means that Allen would be your typical centre-half forward, which means Logan Morris would be your typical full forward, and that's where Morris shone last year. So got no problem with that in the slightest. Structurally, that makes a lot of sense. I just don't think a lot of people are going to go, really? You're going to give, the skinny guy the down-the-line opportunities? Yeah, probably, because I watch him play. It's extraordinary. But the fit works, really well. I don't think he's the 23-32 guy. Brisbane obviously don't think he is either. And they've had a pretty good history of getting injured guys fit. And, of course, you're still going to run into some unlucky situations. But can he unlock some of his best form? Yeah, I think so. Is that contract worth him kicking 45, 50 goals a year? Probably. If he comes out of this with 320 goals from his 6 years, not too bad at all. 300 from his 6 years would be awesome, but I think aiming for that 320 mark's not too bad in the slightest. All of it makes sense. I know that people are going to be like, yeah, but he's not that good now, and the last 2 years, blah, 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 blah. It's kind of the same thing with Mitch Lewis for me, is that if you actually take a look at the fully fit bit, because Brisbane aren't getting him to be injured, they're getting him as what they hope is a fully fit commodity. Like we said, is a top 10 key forward in the league. And he had a stretch that I did a tweet about this a while ago. I don't have it on hand, where he was rivaling, mirroring numbers of the best key forwards in the league at that point. So that's what they're hoping they're getting. And the fresh start's going to do him the world of good. Like logistically, this just makes, and logically, this makes a whole lot of sense. So from there, let's go to Sam Draper, where I feel like I'm going to contradict myself so much here because I've not really bought the Sam Draper hype. I get the cult figure. I get that. Awesome. From a couple of people that are in the know, ripping bloke. Love that in every single way. Not knocking anything about his character or him as a person at all. But he had a horror year last year, not on the field, but off it. He played 5 games, which, again, Oscar Allen's only played 20 in the last 2 years. I get that. And his numbers were awesome. He had career highs in player rating, Supercoach, and fantasy points, if you care about that. Coaches' votes average, disposals and disposals efficiency, meters gained, intercepts, ground balls, stoppage clearances, marks, goals on average. I think he was number 2 across all ruckmen in the league, by the way. And tackles. All of that reads beautifully. And again, the hope is that his health is good enough that Brisbane are going to be able to bring that out of him. And I completely understand that. Where it differs, though, for me, is that the last time that Oscar Allen was fully fit, he was a star. The last time Sam Draper played 16 or more games in a season was 24, and the numbers were not great, which is why this seems like a bigger risk for me. He was number 3 in inside 50s, number 5 in meters gained, number 8 in marks amongst all ruckmen in the league. Awesome. 11th in score involvements, 12th in clearances, equals 16th in contested possession, number 17 in player rating, equal last in coaches' votes, that being nada. Number 18 in disposals, number 19 in center clearances, and equal last in defensive one-on-one loss percentage. So those numbers there aren't exactly screaming out elite ruckman to me. Now, granted, he's not being paid elite ruckman money, but Brisbane clearly are looking at him going, we just need a guy that is around 10 to 14th best ruck in the league, and we think he is the best option of those we might be able to get. And like, I get all that. If I sort of did alphabetical with the clubs, because it's just easier to list in my head, you know, I don't think I'm taking Riley O'Brien over him. I'm taking him over Darcy Fort, I think, although Fort, I think, was relatively underrated this year. But Darcy Cameron, I'm taking over him for sure. Sean Darcy and Luke Jackson, I'm taking over him. I'm taking Jared Witts over him. I'm taking Lloyd Meek, Tristan Sherry, Max Gawn. I'm taking Nan Curvis, DeConey, and Marshall. I'm taking Grundy, and I'm taking English. That's 12 already. And then you're having the conversation around, well, do you take him over Pitnet? Probably, let's be honest. Are you taking him over Reece Stanley? Well, probably because of the age, that's fair. But what about a Kieran Briggs? What about Jordan Sweet? So he is around that 12th to 15th mark, wherever you want to put him there. For the money, it's fine. Essendon, get a good compensation pick for him because Brisbane had to overpay a little bit, which again is completely fine. Essendon are going to want to move up in the draft order. They get what they wanted. West Coast get what they wanted, and Brisbane, I should say, are hopefully going to get 2 guys that are going to further elevate the back-to-back premiers. So all 3 clubs come out of this looking, really well out of the deal, which is great. And also for those of you in the comments, yes, you can include so far in terms of the ins and outs for West Coast. Pick 2 coming in and Oscar Allen coming out. They've still done a good job in the off-season, the Eagles, for the cards that have been dealt to them. So we love that in a big way. So what do you guys think of the 2 moves? Do you think they're going to be able to get back to their better form? Are you worried about them long-term for Brisbane? Let me know your thoughts. Comment below. Let me know. Like the video if you like the video. Subscribe, join the Dad Talks Footy family. I really appreciate you stopping by. I'll see you in the next video. Hopefully we get a few more trades today, since I've recorded this morning, Thursday morning. See you in the next video, guys. Goodbye. Thank you so much.